Alright, now in this tutorial I'm going to show how RPG Maker, the application itself, works. However, to do that I'm going to make a new project. So let's make a new project and call it YouTube Tutorial 2. Let's just do that. It'll save in the same location. Alright, so essentially when you start RPG Maker, it starts up exactly like this. Your player starts in the center, and then you have all this water. Well, if you want to change that, you could go into this mode here, which is F5, which is for your map, which allows you to draw things on the map. Or you could go to this mode here, which is your events mode, F6, and that allows you to create new events. New events are like if you want to make a quest, or if you want to transport the player to another place, or make a door, or like this one, a chest, in, multiple different things like that. This one is what you're going to do most of the time, F5, if you're making a map. So let's just make a quick example. Let's just say, let's make it 4, and then 3 wide down there. Okay, so let's say this is your map, right? F5, which is your, they just call it map, which is pretty much your painting, is to make your pathways. You can make trees, you can make vines, you can make like towers show up, multiple things like that. In this case, let's just say we have on each end here hovering islands. And let's say we want to add some, I don't know, foliage. Let's do that. And then some dead ones. You can make it wider like that. All right. Some trees there. Okay. So there's that. And then let's say this, we just want to be to the pits of hell. Let's do that. So that's basically how you make a map. And then if you want to make a event, let's say you want, when the player goes here, they transfer, right? So let's make a new map. Actually, let's load in a sample map. Let's make it a regular town. All right. So when the player reaches here, right, they have a transfer event. So you could either do it as a quick event, transfer, or you could just make it yourself. And that's what I usually do. And then just transfer the player straight to their town. Let's put it right there. All right. And let's make it where they're facing upwards. All right. And then you want to make that where they touch anywhere there. All right. Now, when the player touches that, they will go to this town. Let's show that. New game. And then just go up. And go in. And there we go. Now we're in the town. And then for each of these, you can make it also maps. And that's through your events. So that's just your F6, which is your events. Then you have zones. With the zones, you can, let's say you want these to all be zone 1. Right? So this is all zone 1. So what you could do here is you can make that zone 1, and then you could make this zone 2. And then essentially what it does, let's finish this real quick first. Essentially what it does is then you could go into your map properties here, and let's say you wanted slimes to show up at a regular rate. So let's put 15 for the weight in only zone 1. So you put zone 1, keep everything else 0. They will only appear in zone 1. Now let's say you want bats to show up at a moderate rate. Let's keep it at 10. And you want them to show up in zone 1s and 2. You could do zones 1 and 2. Now, let's say you want spiders to show up at a lighter rate. Let's say 5. But you only want them to show up in zone 3. You could do that, and they'll only show up in zone 3. However, you would have to have zone 3 set up here. So let's just do that real quick, and then let's go back in, and let's do the same thing. Okay, so slimes at a fairly high rate, zones 1. And then you have your bats at a more moderate rate, so a 10 in zones 1 and 2. And then you have your spiders, yeah, at a lighter rate, yeah, let's say 5, and you only want them in 3. Now you have your slimes. They will show up at a higher rate, which is essentially what weight means, in zone range 1 and 1 only. You will have your bats show up at a lighter rate, more moderate pace, in range of zones 1 and 2. So they will appear here and here. Then you have your spiders. They appear lighter in zone 3. Then you could add another one. And let's say this one's a hornet. Let's put it to 8. And you want these ones to appear in zones 2 and 3. So then you have more than just one mob in zone 3. Now, if you load into the game and you teleport yourself over by hovering over it, clicking space, you will now encounter mobs if they want to appear. There you go. Now, it's a slime because you're in zone 1. So slimes are a little bit easier to kill. Pretty much one shot, at least by default. You could miss, but it's not too likely. You only gain 6 experience and 10 gold. And then let's say you want to go into zone 3. Alright, move around in zone 3. Or 2, I mean, my bad, 2. Whenever the mob wants to appear, a mob will appear, and oh look, it's a hornet, because they are set to appear in zone 2, but not zone 1. They also poison, and they take more than one hit. And then you have your zone 3, which would be just spiders and hornets. Okay. Then let's say you have a super large map, right? Let's say you made a new map, or let's actually just load in a sample map, and let's make it a field. Alright, see how the field is pretty big? Well, you could change the size, or like how much you see, pretty much, the scale. Scale of 1/8 means you could pretty much see every single map. 1/4, and you could see most of the map. A half is just twice as much as one whole. Typically, big maps like this, I do 1/2, or I do one whole, depending on what I want to do. Like if I want to be in this specific area, you could do one of one, which is one whole. Or if you want to do that whole zone, then you could do 1 of 2. And then let's say, oh, you want to put more focus here, then you could zoom in and do more focus there. Or if you just want to look at your whole map, you could do this as well and just look at your map. I would not suggest this for actually putting things down, though. Then you have F9, which is your database. Right there, F9. It shows you all of your actors and everything you could do with them. You could add more by changing the maximum. And then you could copy, paste, change the name to Noah 2, Starseer 2. And then, I don't know. Oh, you want him a wit, or want her a witch. Okay, there you go. You want to change the staff. Oh, okay, there you go. Or, you could just keep it all the same. And then you could edit the max level. Let's just say we want 15 to be the max level for everyone. All right. Well, then you just change it to 15 for every single one of the actors. And then you could change that max level depending on the version of your game. You could change what equipment they start with. They could start with a hand axe, a battle axe, all the way up to a gigantus axe. I would recommend starting with what they start with, and then change it from there based on mobs. Then you have your classes. All of your different types of classes. They have their different abilities and skills and things like that. The Sage definitely has the most. Well, a Witch has a good bit. Then you could change their features, like their parameters or the weapons or the armor. So if you want them to do magic armor or light armor or heavy armor, they can, or general armor. And then you could also change their experience curve. You can make it way higher. So then they require a whole lot more to level up. You could change their hit points and their defense and their luck through the parameters curve here. You could change their abilities here. You could either add another one. You could add like a Sage ability to a soldier if you want. You can make a soldier heal, you can make a monk not heal, you can make a sage not heal, you could turn a priestess into a melee, you could turn a paladin into only ranged, or even turn it into a thief. Then you have more of your skills breakdown here. You could do pretty much anything you want to do. You could do your attack formulas, which is here. You could do your base value. Let's say you want that to be 15. Your physical, you could change that to 80. Your magical, you could change that to 12. And then now they have a way more advanced. Or you can make it where they don't do any damage. And you could do that for everything. By default, they have their attack 4 and defense 2. And you could do that for literally any skill. And you could also make your own skills. Then you have items, which is like your consumables. Your potion, your high potion, your full potion, magic water, everything like that. And you could change how much like HP they give you. You could change the percentage of HP they give you. So if you want to say, oh, I don't want it to be 500, I want it to be a set amount, you could edit this and do this and instead do like a percentage. Let's say you want this one to be 25%. That one's now 25%. Let's say you want this one to be 50%. That's now 50%. And then let's say you want this one to be 75%. That is now 75%. And you could do that for anything, your life up, your power up, magic up. Then you have your weapons. Your weapons are essentially the same thing. You could change the price, the name, the description, the type of animation, the features, and even the parameters. Armor, same thing as your weapons. Enemies, you could change how much hit points they have, mana points, defense, attack, magic, defense, agility, so on and so forth. For every single one you have up to 30 right now by default. However, you could always add more. Same thing with your troops. Your troops is just what it shows you in the battle scene. So you have your slime here, then you have your slime here. And then they call it slime times 2 because 2 of them will appear when you go into battle. You can make it times 3 if you want 3 of them to appear, but you would have to also change that. Then you have your states, which is your death, your poison, blind, magic reflect, your provoke, cover, everything like that. You could change what it does. Obviously, death, you won't be able to move. You probably don't want to remove at end of battle, but then also at the same time, maybe you do, and you want to, at the end of the battle, now you have 1 hit point, and you want to make the game easy, so you make it remove at end of battle, and 1 hit point, and then you could just heal from there and keep on going. Or you can make it where you have to go back to your previous save to make it a little bit more difficult. Same thing with your animations. You could change your animations. You could copy frames. You could clear frames. Do tweening. Never really fiddled with this too much, so I can't tell you exactly what everything does. But anyway, yeah, you could change all of your animations here, and they have the whole entire list of animations for everything in the game so far. Same thing with your tile sets. You could make it, well, not exactly the same thing, because you could make it where you could go through or not go through like that. Oh, okay, you hit that, you can't go through. Now you could go through. Same thing with that. Oh, now I could go through. Now I can't go through. Then your common events, which is pretty much just for your events, like your quick events, but it's just things in the game itself, like in the database itself. And then you have like your system. So you have like Eric, he could have a boat, ship, airship, and then it has the music, the sound effects, the starting positions for it. So you could change the boat's starting position to, I don't know, let's say you want it to be here, you could change it to there. If you want to change the ship, you could do that as well. You could change it to there, whatever you want to do. And then your terms, which is basically your level here, like your basic statuses. So your level, for short, it's LV. HP for short, it's HP. Obviously, you could put that as health points and then HP, or you could just keep it as HP and HP, which is typically what most people do, because most people know what each thing means, maybe to a certain degree. Like maybe they might not know what MDF is, magic defense, or what LUK is, luck, things like that. So that's that. Then you also have your resource manager, which is your animations, battle packs, and you could import new ones. So you could make your own, import them, or you could even replace. You could also preview and import over the top of. And then you have your scripts, which is F11. For your custom scripts, you just insert a new script here. You name it test. This is a test script. And then you have your script here, and it'll work in game. You could also edit the preset scripts, the ones that come with the game. You could change the cache, make it better. You could put sound tests for background music, background sound, master, like the effects, sound effects. And you could also add more. Then you have your character generator. You could generate a new character at random, or you could do it yourself, however you want. However you want, literally however you want. A female as well, make it vampire, make it no vampire. Then you could output what it looks like. So you output the face, which would be that right there. Then you output the character tile set, which would be these here. And this would be what you use in game. If you wanted to be the character, you use this. If you want the character to appear as a quest giver, you use this. And then would be like if you're using it for your events. So you would use it for like, let's just show you. You would use it for like your new events here. Let's say you wanted, not transfer, let's say you wanted to show text. Then you would show the face there. And then that would appear on the show text. And then you have your project settings. Which is essentially just like updating your projects in the cloud. And then you have different options here as well. So you have tile sets A, which is for like your foliage. Tile sets B, which could be like your mountains, volcanoes, houses, cities, things like that. And then it's also changes depending on your map properties. You have field, you have exterior, interior, and dungeon. So let's say right now it's set to field, right? So if you want to change it to exterior, your tile sets change. See how the tile sets changed? Even the map changed. If you want it to be interior, it changes again. And you have more tile sets because you have like cake and cups and wine and things like that. You have your staircase, or not your staircases, but your rails, a bunch of different items. And then you have your beds, your king size beds, shelving, floors, and then you have your stairs here. And then there's also dungeon. And for dungeon, pretty much it's exactly for that. It's pretty much like an interior, exterior, kind of like for both. And you can make a dungeon out of it. You can make like a rope that carries you up to a top level. You could make black doors that you enter. And then like some people use these here for caves. Maybe it starts here, you complete a quest, and then you have dialogue that makes it open up more, and then more dialogue that makes it open up more, and then now that it's here, you could go into the cave. You have your webs that you can't go through, crystals and things like that. Let's put the map properties back to field, though. Now, as well, in your map properties, you could change your battle pack. So let's say you want it to be like dirt, and then you could have it like that. You could change it like that. You can make it a forest. You can make it whatever you want, pretty much. Then you have your background music, which is your different types of music. They have it preset names. So if you have dungeons, you could pick a dungeon one. A field, you could pick a field one. Scenes, which is pretty much like if you want to do cut scenes, but people also do that for their map. And then you have your background song or sounds, which is like your wind, your storm, your sea, your river. Like this one would be perfect for river or wind, maybe even a storm. And then you could change through a event. You can make it a auto run, and you could also change like weather effects. So you can make it storming, and you can make it go indefinitely. And then change it to your background sound being a storm. Right there. And then you have like your tools, like I just went over there or there. Your game to play test, launch in full screen, show the console, open the game folder. Your drawing, which is your pencil, your rectangle, ellipse, flood, fill, and shadow pen, which is all this stuff here, but you have to be in that. And then it changes the way it pastes, it fills, your pencil, and then you have that there. A shadow fill, which pretty much just adds shadows. So if you want like shadows here because of the sun or something, you could do that. Then obviously you have your main file, which is like your new project, open project, close project, save, your undo, copy, paste. And then again, it's just those there, but here in your modes. And then you have your draw type, your scale, tools, game, help, which is all basically right here. However, for game, actually, I think it might be here. Yeah, okay, it's in your file. Then you could compress the game, which means now you're going to make it where you could play it. This allows it where you don't have to download additional software. You could just play it how it is. Through the compression. This here encrypts it so that they can't look at your game files. The game files are encrypted. So they can't like change your tile sets or anything like that. And then if you have anything you need, they have their contents here, audio, they have a bunch of different things here that you could go through. And then they have the about, which is just about the application itself. And that's pretty much the basic rundown of the whole entire application and how it works. And you just use it through Steam. I believe you could also use it through their website, but I'm not sure. I think that's only the light version. I just use it through Steam here. You just download it, go to the Play Store, or the store, not the Play Store, the heck. RPG Maker, VX Ace is the one I use mostly. Click it. And then there you go. There you have it. $70 or $210 for the pack. Or if you want the bundle, $215.70. And yeah, that's pretty much how you use VX Ace, and really honestly, any of the other RPG makers are all universal. They're pretty much, every single one of them are pretty much the exact same from each other. So yeah,